Friends, in continuation with the fifth lesson, that is inside the atom, today we will see the next part of our lesson. So before that we will just discuss or revive the things or the theories we have already studied. So Dalton's theory we have studied. Inside it he told that the smallest indivisible particle or part of a element is called as a atom. It is a solid ball, he said that, and it is a indivisible. After that, after the research on the research, the Thomson, he said that it is not a solid ball. He said that some particles are there inside it. Negative particles are there. They are present inside the atom, and this part he compare his model with the plum pudding. Otherwise he compare it with the watermelon, how the seeds are present inside the watermelon. These seeds are the negative particles, and the edible part, that red part, is the what? It is the positive particle, he said that. After that, what happens? Studying the next scientist Rutherford in 1911, he performed an experiment that we had seen yesterday, that on the gold sheet, and what happens, he just bombarded with this gold particle with the alpha rays. What he said that some rays are there that moves forward without deviation. Okay, some get, so many are there, it get, what happens, without deviation it goes forward from it. Some are deviated by little bit angle, and some are there, they came or they return from there. So that is about the Rutherford. Now in here it is his research date. Research is in 1911, and here it is 1913. After his discovery, the next scientist, we had seen that last lecture inside. So this that also we had seen, and today we will see the next point, that is use your brain powers point, that I told you to do the study of this. So which discovery did point out that atom has an internal structure? So who said that? The scientist, who is that? Rutherford. He said that it has a internal structure. What is the difference between the solid atom by Dalton's atomic theory and Thomson's atomic theory? That is, Dalton said that it is only a solid ball, and what happens, its mass is evenly distributed in the atom. But Thomson said that it is like a watermelon, and how the seeds are present inside the watermelon, in that way, or plum pudding model, the plums, otherwise raisins, which that present inside the how cake inside the dry fruits are present, otherwise watermelon inside, how the seeds are present, in that way its a structure is there. That is the difference between the Dalton's theory and the Thomson's theory. Now explain the difference between the positive charge in the Thomson's model and Rutherford's atomic model. You know that just I told you, the Thomson said that the positive charge is there. If it is an atom, positive charge is there, it is present. All that edible part of the watermelon, how it is the red color, it is like a positive charge. Okay, and he said that the negative charge is there, it is like a seeds which are present inside the what? Watermelon, or plums inside the plum cake. So this is the structure, he said that, Thomson. But what he said, Rutherford said that, he said that all the positive particles are there, they are present inside the nucleus, means positive charge is inside the nucleus, and negative charge it is revolving around in this orbit. Okay, this is the Rutherford's atomic model. Now what is the point difference between the place of electron in the atomic model of Thomson and Rutherford? So what is the point difference? The point difference is that he said that all the positive charge particles are there. It is even positive charge is in positive charge, negative charge is embedded. But Thomson said, Rutherford said that the positive charge is present inside the nucleus, and the negative charge, it is very negligible, it is revolving around the nucleus. Okay, and what is the thing which is present in Rutherford's model and not present in Dalton's model? That is Thomson's atomic model. Dalton and Thomson's atomic model, inside what is absent? The revolution of the electrons is absent, but he said that the electrons are present in the orbits of the orbiting around the nucleus. And establishing law of physics, an electrically charged body is revolving in a circular orbit. What he said that in establishing law of physics, electrically charged body is revolving around the circular orbit. Okay, so electrons are the what? They have the negative charge. So electrically charging bodies are there, they are revolving around the circular orbit. It is the law of physics. Then its energy is decreasing according to this law atom describes the Rutherford model turn out to be unstable. Okay, in reality, however, all atoms except radioactive atoms are stable. What I said, that except radioactive atoms, radioactive substances are uranium, thorium, strontium, those are the radioactive substances, and its study is there for you in the future standard. Only the radioactive substances which emits some kind of rays from its nucleus, those substances are called as the radioactive substances. So in shortcoming, the Rutherford atomic model was removed by the atomic model put forth by the next the Niels Bohr in the year 1930. So what is the Niels Bohr's atomic model? We'll study it in detail now. So in year 1913, the Danish scientist Niels Bohr explained the stability of atom by putting forth the stable atomic model. Okay, the important postulate of Bohr's atomic model are as follows. So see here, what is the important postulate? Postulate means positive points. The electrons revolving around the nucleus. What he said, that the electrons are there, they are revolving around the nucleus. Suppose this is a nucleus and here it is nucleus and the electrons are there, they are revolving around the nucleus. Lie in a concentric circular orbit. Concentric means center is same only. So here one orbit is there, one more orbit is there, one more orbit is there. So this is concentric, means center is same, and around that center what happens, these nucleus electrons are there, they are revolving. Circular orbit at a certain distance from a circular orbit. Now second, he said that energy of electron is constant. What he said, that the energy of electrons is constant when it is in a particular orbit. Okay, if they are in a first orbit, the electrons whichever is present, as you know that first orbit inside 2 electrons are there, it is there for you study. Okay, so 2 electrons, these both electrons have the same energy. When you goes in the second orbit, it has 8 electrons and its energies differ from the electrons which are present in the first orbit. When an electron jumps from inner orbit to the outer orbit, what they told you, when an electron jumps from inner orbit to the outer orbit, it absorbs energy. Suppose this is the second one orbit and this. If electrons wants to move from this orbit to this orbit, when the charges are takes place or where something is going on, then what happens, the electrons are changing their orbits, and at that time when they are going from inner orbit to external orbit, then they are absorbing the energy, and it vice versa. Means if electron is present in outer orbit and if he wants to come inside the orbit, then what happens, here it absorbs energy and here it loses the energy. Okay, and inner orbit, and it emits energy equal to the difference of the energy level. So how much is the energy level in between the 2 orbit? This much energy what happens, it emits. Now we will see the next part, that is the do you know part. When a stable salt means what? Sodium chloride. Its formula is NaCl. Okay, throw on LPG gas stove flame. Okay, you seen that when your mother is doing something on it on kitchen, and sometimes if salt particles falls on that flame of the gas, then what happens, sparks, means it sparks and forms at that place. Okay, it sparks, we see the light or the voice we can hear listening, that voice is producing. The sodium metal, what is present in this sodium chloride, means NaCl inside sodium metal put in water, it burns, gives out yellow flame. What happens, sodium, if separately it is there, if sodium is there, this Na sodium, it is a metal, if we put it into the what they told you, water, it burns itself. It is not necessary to give the heat, or otherwise not necessary to take the lighted candle to near to it, it burns itself only. Okay, when you open it, it reacts with the oxygen which is present in the air and start burning. So when this sodium metal is there, if we put it in water, it burns, gives a yellow flame. On a road, sodium vapor lamps gives yellow color light. Okay, on the road the yellow color light, if it is giving that light, then it is a sodium vapor lamp. From all above example, the electrons of sodium absorb energy and goes on outermost shell. What I told you just now, I told you that it has orbit. If this electron is jumping from this orbit to this orbit, what happens, it emits energy. So same thing is happening. Sodium absorb energy and goes on the next outermost shell and come back in inner shell after emitting energy, and afterwards it is again came back into the original position. The difference in the energy level of these two shell of sodium is fixed, and this difference is similar to energy of yellow light, and therefore above example same specific yellow light is emitted. Okay, so here it is the some model, that is Bohr's model. Okay, how it is, he said that that is the nucleus, positive charge, it is the positively charged, it is the nuclei. Here it is nuclei, it is the nuclei, and here 1 2 3 4, these are the shells, and name of shells are the first shell is the K shell, L shell, M shell, and the N shell. So this is the structure or atomic model what is put forth by the scientist, that is Bohr. Now some more atomic models were put forth by after Bohr's atomic model. Atomic structure was studied at the depth with the advent of the new branch of science called as a quantum mechanism. Okay, what they told you, atomic structures are there, they are studying in which the quantum mechanics, and with all those some well accepted fundamental properties of atomic structure is as follows. So how is the atomic structure of the atomic structure, that we will see here. Okay, so before looking towards the atomic structure, we will see the Bohr's atomic model. Its video will clear your all doubts.
Various models of the atom have been proposed by eminent scientists over the years. These models have increased our understanding of the atomic structure. Among these models, Rutherford suggested that electrons revolve around the nucleus in well-defined orbits, but there was a problem with this. The motion of electrons in Rutherford's model was unstable because any charged particle moving in a circular path emits electromagnetic radiation. Thus, the electrons would lose energy and fall into the nucleus, making the atom highly unstable. Then, which would be a better model of an atom? To overcome the objections against Rutherford's model of atom, Niels Bohr in 1913 proposed a new atom model. What does this model propose? It first proposes that electrons revolve around the nucleus in specific orbits, and these orbits are associated with definite energies and are called shells or energy levels. These orbits or shells are represented by the letters K, L, M, N. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a particular orbit is 2n to the power of 2, where n is the number of the orbit. Thus, K shell would have 2 electrons, L shell would have 8 electrons, M shell would have 18 electrons, and N shell would have 32 electrons, and so on.
So how they are finding how many electrons are there in the K shell? They just now told you that the formula is the 2n square. The formula is 2n square. So 2, if a number of shell is first, K shell is there. So 1 square is 1, and 1 into 2 is equals to 2. So in K shell, how many electrons are there? 2 electrons are there. Same way, if the number of the formula is 2n square, but the orbit is second or third we will take. So if orbit is third, then we have to write here 3 square, n is equals to here what? 3. So 3 square is 9, and 9 2s are 18. So M shell accommodates how many electrons? 18 electrons it accommodates in its orbit, outermost shell. So in this way we are finding how many electrons are present in the particular orbit. Okay.
That said, what does this model next propose? It next proposes that the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost level is 8. And finally it says that the orbit closest to the nucleus has minimum energy and the orbit farthest has the maximum energy. Well then, does an electron radiate energy by itself? Since electrons move in a particular orbit, they do not radiate energy by themselves. What happens instead is when an atom absorbs energy, the electrons get excited and jump into the next higher energy level.
Now you see that how the electron from this orbit, from which orbit? K orbit, what happens? It absorbs the energy. It absorbs energy, and what happens? It goes on the next orbit. Okay, so here it was there, and it absorbs the energy and it goes in the other orbit. It changes. So it absorbs the energy when it is going to the another orbit, or it is reducing the emits the energy and come inside the orbit. Okay, we will see the next video now.
The electron can radiate energy and return to its original state or drop down to the next energy level. Bohr's model works well for simple atoms and is easy to return to its original state or drop down to the next energy level. Bohr's model works well for simple atoms and is easy to understand. It is one among the atomic structures still in use today, and the other being the quantum mechanical model. Things to remember. In 1913, a Danish physicist Niels Bohr proposed an atomic model known as Bohr's atomic model. In an atom, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in definite energy levels called orbits or shells. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a particular orbit is 2n to the power of 2. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost shell is 8. The orbit closest to the nucleus has minimum energy, and the orbit farthest has maximum energy. Electrons are excited to the higher energy levels by absorbing energy and return to the lower energy levels by radiating energy.
Now we will see the atomic structure. So how is the structure of atomic? As you know that the atom is formed from the nucleus. As you know that atom is formed from the nucleus and extranuclear part. First nucleus is there and extranuclear part. Just now one video inside we seen that how center inside nucleus is there and our orbits are there. So that orbits where it is, they are in the extranuclear part, and these contains three types of subatomic particles. So first it is the nucleus. Okay, so what is nucleus? The atomic nucleus is positively charged. Almost entire mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus. So what is nucleus? The nucleus is a positively charged. Nucleus is the positively charged and all the mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus. The nucleus contains two types of subatomic particles, and which are those? And those are called as the nucleons. So protons and the neutrons. So protons and neutron together it is called as a nucleons, and they are present in the nucleus, and that's why it is called as a nucleons. Okay, and from these protons are there. These protons are the positively charged, and that of neutrons, they doesn't have any charge on it, and because of it what happens? Nucleus acquired which charge? The positive charge they acquired. Now next part is the protons. From this first part, that is nucleus inside protons are there. So proton is positively charged subatomic particle. Proton is positively charged subatomic particle in the atomic nucleus. This positive charge on the nucleus is due to the proton in it. Just I told you that protons and who is present? Neutrons are present in the nucleus, and protons are the positive charge. That of neutron doesn't have any charge, and that's why the proton is a positively charged. A proton is represented by symbol P. Each proton carries a positive charge of 1 plus 1e, and 1e is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. That is the weight it is. It's a charge it is given when total positive charge in the nucleus is expressed unit E, its magnitude is equal to the number of protons in the nucleus. The number of proton in the nucleus of atom is atomic number of the element. So suppose if a nucleus contains 5 protons, then the atomic number is 5. Of that element's atomic number is 5, and it is denoted by letter capital Z. This is capital Z. So capital Z is the atomic number, and it depends on the number of protons which are present in the nucleus. Okay, now here this U like sign, it is actually sign of a Dalton. It is called as this sign is called as U. It is written, it is called as a 1 Dalton, and 1 Dalton is equal to 1.6666 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. The mass of hydrogen atom is also approximately 1 Dalton. Okay, so hydrogen's mass is 1 Dalton because it has only one proton is in its nucleus. It has only one proton in his nucleus, and that's why what happens, its atomic mass is same like this. Now the next part is the neutron. So what is neutrons? As I told you, neutrons are the no charge on this body. Okay, so it is an electrically neutral subatomic particle and denoted by the symbol small n. The number of neutron in the nucleus is denoted by capital N. Okay, so we seen that the atomic number is shown by Z, protons are shown by P, neutrons are shown by N. Now atomic nuclei of this element except hydrogen with atomic mass 1 Dalton contains neutrons. Okay, the mass of the neutron is approximately 1 Dalton, which almost equal to that of the proton. So how much is the mass of proton? So atomic mass, when we are finding the elements, it is denoted by letter A. So atomic mass is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. If we add this, we get the atomic mass of the element. So here electron doesn't have any kind of mass, but these protons are there. They have the protons and neutrons only have the mass. Now next it is the that we see which are present in the nucleus, that is protons and the neutrons. They are the nucleus inside they are present, and that's why we are called as a nucleons. And now extranuclear part. Extranuclear part, as you know that this is suppose a atom and it is its nucleus. Then here in the nucleus inside protons and neutrons are present. They have a mass. Okay, and as compared to those masses, the electrons are there, they are very negligible. Their mass we are not calculate, then also okay, it is very negligible, and the electrons are present in the extranuclear part of the atom. So extranuclear part of the atomic structure includes electron revolving around the nucleus and the empty space between the nucleus and the electron. So this is the nucleus. Okay, and these are the, suppose the orbits are there, this is nucleus, here electrons are present, and the extranuclear part means except neutral, the space in between the orbits and the orbit electrons are included in the extranuclear part of the what part. Then the next part is the electrons. Electron is a negatively charged subatomic particle. Protons have positive charge, neutron doesn't have any charge, and electrons have the negative charge. Each electron carries 1 unit negative charge. The mass of electron is 1800 times less than that of hydrogen mass, and therefore the electron can be treated as a negligible. Therefore we are not. How much is the proton's mass? It's 1800 times. If we divide this with 1800 times, then what happens? Its mass is the how much? That much is the mass of electron. It is very negligible. That's we are not taking in account. Next, electrons are present in the extranuclear part revolving around a discrete orbit around the nucleus. Orbits being three-dimensional in nature. They are in three-dimensional nature. The shell is used and stayed to term orbit. The energy of electron is determined by the shell where it is present. Means if it is present in the first orbit, second orbit, that on it the power or electrons, the power is decided, or its energy is decided. The number of electron in the extranuclear part is equals to the number of protons. So here if we notice that P, how much are the protons? Same number of electrons are present. Number is same, but weight is very negligible, so we are not counting it, and therefore equal to the number of proton in the nucleus Z, and therefore electric charges are balanced and atom is electrically neutral. So what we are understanding that, as you know that just nucleus, the electron, atomic structure shows that the nucleus is, it has a nucleus, it has protons, it has neutrons. Protons have the positive charge, neutron doesn't have any charge, and these are the electrons. They are revolving around this orbit. And how much number of protons are there? Same number of electrons are there. So positive charge is equal to negative charge, and that's why what happens, it doesn't have any charge. We can't find out any charge on the atom. Okay, that's why it doesn't have any charge. So today we stop here only, and next part of the lesson we will see tomorrow. So all of you just study this and study this today's part. So we will stop here only. Okay, thank you.